Hi everyone, I'm Bianca Mathieu, and thank you for providing me a few minutes to discuss the opportunity to develop a referral management program in order to decrease the number of patients being referred out of our network. Here at St. Francis Hospital Medical Center, our providers and those who are affiliated with us, including our SOHO providers, um, Collins Medical Group, and Prime Healthcare, refer out 10% of their patients out of network, causing a lack of care coordination, outward migration, a loss of revenue to the organization. As an organization, our focus has been growth. But how can we focus on growth if we aren't ensuring that we're providing the appropriate services to those within our network currently? On a monthly basis, St. Francis and their affiliates issue over 6,500 referrals. And 10% or 650 of those referrals are being sent out of network. As mentioned in this quote, health systems lose more than 20% revenue due to inefficiency in their organizational referral process. As we will review later in the presentation, each referral equates to a little over $2,000 in net revenue for the organization, with little to no additional expense needed. There has been a lack of transparency around the referral data, creating a gap between the hospital and the medical group. Leadership has been operating blindly, which has caused a lack of collaboration to ensure we are communicating service changes, educating our providers, and living our mission to make it easy not only for our providers and staff, but ultimately our patients. Now, where do we go from here? I have found this quote where it mentions 96% of healthcare system executives say they're trying to stem patient leakage, but less than 1/3 have a plan to retain more patients. First, we're going to start by creating transparency in the referral data. This will be done by partnering with the medical group to obtain the data every Monday for the prior week. The data will then be placed in a developed teams page that both the hospital and the medical leadership team have access to. Next, I will personally work on developing a weekly dashboard focused on the number of outgoing referrals, but also the percentage of the total number of referrals to eliminate any noise if for 1 week the total number of referrals was high compared to the next week where it was low. Finally, we're going to establish weekly calls to review the data and develop pointed tactics based on the specialties that are being referred out or a specific provider or group. Next, we will focus on reviewing the referral process to understand opportunities for improvement and/or increase efficiencies. With Trinity Health in New England's brand statement of "we listen, we partner, we make it easy," it's our obligation to see how we can improve the process both internally and externally. So we'll start by developing a process map of the referral process to understand if there is any way we can make it easier for the provider, the referring provider, and the patient. Next, based on the process map, we'll develop and review the communication to the referral process and provide standard work to all employed and affiliated providers. This should be a joint communication between the hospital and the medical group leadership, showing that collaboration is taking place and stress the importance of the relationship and making it easy for the providers. Finally, we'll do a hands-on training, which will occur for the providers to answer any questions and support in standardizing their screens, modifying their drop-downs, and searching in-network providers when placing the referral. Now that we've created transparency in the referral data and we've reviewed the process, it's now time to increase communication between all 4 entities: a part of our data set. This includes our employed providers, our affiliated providers, Collins Medical Associates, and Prime Healthcare. First, we'll start by rotating educational sessions that will occur once a week at 7:30 in the morning prior to clinics opening. These will be focused for Prime Healthcare and Collins Medical Associate providers. The purpose is to highlight a specialty per week presented by the chair of that department. This will engage our local leadership and allow for relationship building. Next, marketing will develop brochures for the top 5 referred out specialties. These brochures will then be used to hand out and allow for a quick reference for referring providers to see who is in network for the specialty that they're looking to refer to. Finally, it's important to have face-to-face meetings with the providers. These visits allow for an understanding of what barriers they may be experiencing and what challenges that we as an organization can help make easier. Next, to reach our 5% reduction on outgoing referrals, it's pivotal to have the engagement of our service line leaders. This will be accomplished by including them on a rotating basis to an established weekly meeting. This will allow, in a joint session with ELT, service line leaders to focus on tactics that can be taken for their specific specialty. Next will be a hands-on training for the service line leaders to understand the dashboard. How can they manipulate it? How can they see more information than what we may highlight during that weekly meeting? It's going to allow time for training. Allowing that time for training is important to show them that they're supported in this process, as they need to understand the data and to truly make a difference. Finally, we'll be creating transparency internally by presenting at management team the tactics that have been completed by each service line and the ELT members, and provide an update on the most up-to-date results of our efforts on reducing outgoing referrals. So I just wanted to provide a snippet of the volume, the outgoing volume from July 5th through September 19th. Within this time frame, there was 1,176 outgoing referrals across many specialties here at St. Francis. If you look at the chart, I've highlighted some in yellow. Those are specialties that I believe should be a focus as we move forward, as they align with our overall growth plan as an organization. Now for last fiscal year, on average, each encounter equated to net revenue of $2,122, which is illustrated in the image on the left-hand side of this slide. As mentioned, over the last 11 weeks, there were 1,174 outgoing referrals, which means the organization potentially lost almost $2.5 million in net revenue just in the last 11 weeks. If this same trend continues through the rest of the fiscal year, the organization has potential of losing over $11.7 million in net revenue. Now, if outgoing referrals became a priority for all involved, and we engage our leadership team to reduce the number of outgoing referrals by just 5%, the organization has the ability to increase net revenue by almost $5.9 million. These additional patients allow an increase in productivity and shouldn't drive any additional expenses, with the exception of some supplies for things such as brochures, corporate swag, and potential dinner expense. In conclusion, with the continued focus on improving care coordination across the organization, it's important that we work on closing this gap between the services we provide and the patients we care for. The organization has the potential to improve the bottom line by $5.8 million by reducing the number of outgoing referrals by 5%. But this isn't just about the bottom line. It's about the relationships that can be formed. an increase in transparency not only internally, but with our affiliated providers. We improve the process to make it easier for our providers, colleagues, and our patients. And finally, we begin empowering and engaging our service line leaders in this process. Thank you for allowing me some time to talk through the importance in decreasing our outgoing referrals by putting in place a referral management process. Have a great day.